Yes, sir.
Okay, so today we are going to observe the difference in TCP and UDP. So please pay attention. First, I will go through theory, and then we will verify with the help of practical experimentation. So this is the older slides which you know very well. In computer, we have a processor, we have a RAM, we have a hard disk drive, and we have a NIC cards. And we will have a display monitor to display things on screen. And this is a RAM part, RAM area. That's the first area belongs to graphics area. Another area means next subsequent area belongs to OS area, and thus third area belongs to user area. So RAM is divided into three parts: graphic area part, OS area part, and user area part that we have discussed during second lecture as well. What is goal? We are observing the network statistics over here, so that's why this NIC card receives ones and zeros, means in terms of electrical pulses, those electrical pulses are converted into ones and zeros and it is stored into RAM. So to mimic this phenomena, these ones and zeros are received at NIC card. Initially, those zeros and ones are stored into user area because it's a user perspective, because user has received data. But mind well, without user trigger, the NIC card will not receive data. If you want to access Gmail, the user has to start browser. User has to write gmail.com, and then the request goes to Gmail server, and then comes reply. So this is a reply scenario. This is not request scenario. Without request, we will not have a reply. Without request, we will not have a reply. And this reply in terms of electrical pulses, which is you are receiving from gmail.com, and the received response will be stored into user area in terms of signal of ones and zeros. We started to discuss about kernel parameters and kernel practical number 7. We have discussed kernel parameters. We have tuned kernel parameters as well. In this in OS area, we know very well there is a kernel, and kernel contains this protocol stack. And this is the detail of protocol stack, starting from physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, and application layer. This is in stack and this is out stack. This is very detail of all these stacks. So when the packets are received, first packets are received, the physical layer receives in terms of electrical signals. It will be sent to ETH, Ethernet layer. Ethernet layer uh, extract its information from header part. It verifies whether it belongs to itself or not. Then data part will be given to the network layer. Network layer does the same thing. It extracts certain fields of network header, and then it does depends on the type of device, whether it's end user or whether it is intermediate router. Then the data part will be given to transport layer. Transport layer, same thing it performs, and data given to the application layer. So this is what we assume, that data comes from physical layer and it is given to the application layer. Mind well, without transmitting data, without requesting data, we will not have a reply. So first, the request will be sent, application layer will send, give me first page of gmail.com, transport layer will prepare header, sends to network layer will prepare header, it sends to Ethernet header. Ethernet header prepares its Ethernet layer prepares header and it sends to physical layer. Physical layer it transmits in terms of electrical pulses. So that is send application as a request, and once the reply is received, the NIC card will receive electrical pulse in terms of ones and zeros, and those ones and zeros will be kept into user area. So this is normally sequence of ones and zeros that we have looked into practical number 2. So this is detailed explanation of practical 2. We are going to understand uh, uh, what we can derive for practical 8 and practical 9. So consider the first two row. Consider the first two row belonging to Ethernet header. While the packet is received, while the packet is received at physical layer, it is stored into a user area, ones and zeros, and then it gives to the Ethernet header. So now Ethernet header, the first two row, let's say it belongs to Ethernet header. The length of this Ethernet header 14 bytes. So assume this first two row belongs to 14 bytes. First two row belongs to 14 byte. And Ethernet header will have a source address, destination address, then followed by source address, and there is a type, and actually this is data. This becomes data for Ethernet header. Data for Ethernet header. So these first 2 bytes for the first 2 rows means which is equivalent to 40 bytes will be removed from data link layer, and rest other bytes 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 row will be given to the network layer. So that phenomena is mentioned over here. The Ethernet header, it extract header part from data whatever received from the physical layer. This is physical layer data in terms of ones and zeros. So we have seen this is ones and zeros. The sequence of ones and zeros, whole this sequence of ones and zeros will be assigned to Ethernet header, Ethernet layer. Ethernet layer will extract header part and it stores into structure header. So this struct header is of 14 bytes. Struct header is 14 bytes. Then it extracts data from data and it stores into data ETH part. So this 14 after removing 14 byte, rest of the bytes will be stored into data ETH part. Operations using header, it extracts the destination MAC address if it belongs to itself, then it removes this header. Actually, it does not remove, it is we have separated in the first 2 rows. Then whatever the data, this data ETH will be given to the network layer. Means this 4 row, rest of the 4 row will be given to the network layer. Rest of the 4 row will be given to the network layer. So network layer will not observe this. Network layer will not have this. It will have only 4 row. Okay. So now we are talking about network layer. So network layer receives those data from here to here, and this 4 row it will receive. And network header, we know very well the length of network header is 20 bytes. Length of network header is 20 bytes. So let's assume the first 2 row belongs to 20 bytes. I'm taking hypothetical number of rows. So please take care. Do not count it's a 20 bytes. Let's assume it's a 20 byte. First 2 rows are 20 bytes. Rest other contains data. This is data for transport layer. So first 2 row, this first and second over here, that is network header. Okay. Now it is, what are the operation it performs? It is same operation that Ethernet header does. It extracts data and it extracts header and it extracts data, and data will be sent into the transport layer, receive transport layer, and then followed, and the transport layer will receive this much part. Transport layer will receive this much part. This is transport layer and this is ones of zeros received by transport layer. Okay. Now transport layer, it again 20 byte of header, 20 bytes of header. Let's assume the first row is 20 bytes. The first row is 20 bytes and the next row belongs to data. Next row belongs to data. This is the data part. So transport header, again what it does, it extracts data, it extracts header, extracts data, operation using header. If there is error, then it prints up error. Transport layer exits 0, it exits from this protocol stack, and whatever the data it receives, data at transport layer, that will be given to the application layer. So this one last row will be given to the application layer, is nothing but the first page of gmail.com. Okay, the browser, it's in this case application layer is a browser. The browser may be the Chrome browser or any other browser, Firefox browser or any other browser, that will receive this data data forwarded by transport layer, and it displays on your screen. To display those data on your screen, it uses HTML format. So currently HTML5 version is there. It is made of text, TAG text. So for each and every display or arrangement of data, it is having a tag nothing but table tag, bullet tag or numbering tag. All those tags are available. Text tag. With the help of that tag, it displays on your screen at appropriate place of browser. So this is with respect to what is going on in the network, at Ethernet physical layer, then Ethernet layer, network layer, and then transport layer. Okay. Now, if we follow the same ways in sending requesting, only the last row which we have seen over here, that will be generated by the browser, and it will be given to the transport layer. Transport layer will prepare header, which is of this row, the header, this is row, and it will attach that header with data, and whole bunch will be given to the network layer. Now network layer will prepare again its own header and it will be given to data link layer. Data link layer will prepare header and it will be given to the physical layer, and physical layer transmits in terms of electrical signals. Okay, so all those layers works independently of each other. All those layers works independently of each other. Is it clear?
Yes,
So
sir.
now we are a transport layer. Our practical 8 and practical 9 we are discussing with respect to transport layer. So in a transport layer, this is protocol stack. A transport layer, this is the application layer, and this is a transport layer. A transport layer, this is in stack, and this is out stack. This is transport layer of in and out. In this transport layer again two protocol works, TCP and UDP. Here as well, TCP and UDP. So whenever the network layer detects, network layer receives data from the Ethernet layer, in header part of network layer, it mentions whether that data belongs to TCP or whether it belongs to UDP. Whether the data belongs to TCP or whether it belongs to UDP. So how can we find out those data? In practical number 2, we have discussed very well, or you have observed that in network header there is a field protocol. Network header there is a field protocol. These protocol, using this protocol, it can be differentiate whether it belongs to transport layer or TCP or it belongs to UDP. This is TCP, UDP. Sorry, this is TCP and this is UDP. Network layer header part, it identifies protocol. If protocol equal to TCP, the data part will be given to TCP. If protocol equal to UDP, then data part will be given to UDP because data part contains header of UDP. So once it is TCP, it analyzes the header of or it extracts the header of TCP. If it is UDP, it extracts header for UDP. So it is having separate code TCP.cc and UDP.cc you can assume, and this will call the network layer will call TCP.cc or UDP.cc based on the protocol field of network header. Once it is identified TCP, again TCP will verify whether which port or which application layer it has. So for that it searches for the port number. It's a logical port number, the port number, and then it sends data from that transport layer to specific application. In our case, it's a web browser. So whenever we open a web browser, the operating system assigns free port number to that web browser. Available free port number. It's a numeric value. It's a 16-bit value. Port number is a 16-bit value that will be allocated to the web browser. And now onwards, whatever it communicates, it uses that 16-bit port number until and unless we close or terminate that web browser. That port will be associated with each and every browser. Any question till so far?
No, sir.
Okay, we are going in TCP and differentiating between TCP and UDP. Differentiating between TCP and UDP. Now, this is timeline, this is sender, and this is receiver. This is also sender, and this is also receiver over here. Sender and receiver. This is a scenario. This is case of UDP. This is case of TCP. What can you observe with difference between UDP and TCP? What observation you can find over here?
TCP માં acknowledgement આવે પછી બીજો મેસેજ મોકલી શકાય.
Yes, if you receive acknowledgement, then it sends another message. But again, there are some rules and regulations. We will see what are the rules and regulations. And over here,
એક સાથે બધા મોકલી આપે.
एक साथ है बता, but it's a back to back with some space. With some space between between these two packets, there are some spaces. So this space is constant. This you can consider this space between P1 and P2, P2 and P3, and subsequent packets is a constant. And receiver sides, you are receiving your packets at constant rate, and there is no acknowledgement involved over here. So in practical number 8, we have seen one parameter, that is interval. In practical number 8, we found one parameter that is known as interval. So that interval is nothing but this interval. What must be the space between, or the time between two packets, that we have seen in form of interval. But in case of TCP, in case of TCP, there is no interval parameter over here. There is no internal parameter over here. So UDP is guided by interval parameter. UDP is guided by interval parameter. Guided by in the sense, UDP sends next subsequent packet based on the interval parameter. I repeat, the UDP sends next subsequent packet based on the interval parameter, wherein TCP sends data based on the acknowledgement received. So over here, the controlling agent is acknowledgement. Over here, controlling agent is interval. Are you getting what is controlling agent? If you do not get it, let me know.
Yes, sir.
So what do you interpret as a controlling agent over here?
કંટ્રોલિંગ એજન્ટ મીન્સ એ નક્કી કરે કે યુડીપી અને ટીસીપી માં છે તો એમાં ઇન્ટરવલ હશે અને એકમાં એક્નોલેજમેન્ટ બેઝ પર હશે.
Okay, for example, if you have a video streaming, live video streaming, yesterday you might have seen the cricket match, live video cricket streaming. In that it uses UDP because it's a video application. So if your application is video streaming which can tolerate the damage of a drop of packet, then you must have to use UDP. So UDP, if you use UDP drives that the video streaming data, the camera will capture data at constant rate. Yes or no?
યસ સર.
Okay, so if it is capturing data at constant rate, does it mean that we can send data at constant rate? Are you getting something? This camera will capture their frames, let's say 16 frames per second. So it has to send those 16 frames per second continuously. So can we say this application of video streaming has to be controlled by interval? So the application which are controlled by interval, we have to use UDP. Is it clear? But mind well over here, if the packet is dropped by, for example, this P5 is being dropped, the P6 and P7 next subsequent packets will be sent. It will not take care about P5. It will not take care about P5 whether the P5 has received or not. Once it reaches P6, it displays P6 packet on your screen. So you might observing some disturbance during your live cricket match, and because of this dropping of packet, it will not care about this dropping of packet. It will display next subsequent packet. Okay, any question?
No, sir.
નો સર.
Okay. In case of TCP requires that whatever I send, it has to be reliable. Reliable in the sense, if the packet is being dropped, and sender will not receive acknowledgement, sender will resend that packet. I want all the bits by bits without any corruption or without any corrupted data. So that's why TCP is known as reliable protocol. UDP is unreliable. Okay, have you observed in TCP/IP protocol stack? This is a TCP/IP protocol stack. Just I am taking in protocol. This is transport layer, and this is TCP and UDP. And bottom one is network, means IP. This is TCP and this is UDP. Bottom one is IP. Both TCP and UDP, to send and receive data, it interacts with IP, means internet protocol or network layer. Both TCP, either TCP or UDP, if it wants to send data, it interacts with IP. Is it clear? So connection oriented and connection less, both the services is offered by IP followed by Ethernet header and followed by physical layer. Are you getting? Any question? Because TCP, if it wants to send data, it gives to IP. If UDP wants to send data, it gives again same IP. Same code, it is followed by either TCP and UDP case by the network layer. Okay, but this way of acknowledgement makes this UDP unreliable because it does not have acknowledgement, and this TCP is having acknowledgement. It makes reliability. Rest other things remain, everything remains same. Is it clear? Preparing a header, sending a data to network layer, that all the functionality remains same, but this is reliable. How is it reliable? It waits for the acknowledgement. It waits for the acknowledgement. Okay, if the packet is being dropped, if it does not, it will not receive acknowledgement. If it is not receiving acknowledgement, it has to send the same packet number 2 again. This is P1, P2, P3, and this is reaching of P2. The P2 is not received over here, acknowledgement is not received over here. It will resend again P2 again. This is not the case because we are not receiving acknowledgement. What is acknowledgement? It's a receiver transport layer will give acknowledgement. Receiver's transport layer will give acknowledgement to the sender. Okay, so if I look at TCP protocol stack point of view, this is TCP header, TCP layer, and this TCP layer talks to each other. This TCP layer and this TCP layer talks to each other. Physical layer, there may be fiber optic communication, wireless communication, or wireline communication. But this TCP layer talks to receiver TCP with the help of headers. Header TCP talks to header TCP of receivers, and they interact with each other. So this transport layer of sender sends this P1. Receiver transport layer will send acknowledgement of the upon receiving P1. It sends acknowledgement. If this acknowledgement received, so it sends next 2 packets. This is controlled by some algorithm. That algorithm is known as congestion control algorithm. Congestion control algorithm. Okay, so congestion control algorithm we'll see in the next slide what it does and why there is a congestion control algorithm. We will see first why, and I will explain what is exactly mean by congestion control. But do you understand that sender TCP layer interacts with receiver TCP layer by means of header? If the packet is received at the receiver side, it will reply to the sender. This is acknowledgement of received packet. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Any question? So can we say?
No, sir.
Can we say a transport layer? It extracts the information from the TCP. It gives to replication layer. It gives application layer. Along with it also sends acknowledgement. So TCP does 2 tasks. It gives data to the application layer as well as it prepares small header, and in terms of acknowledgement, it sends to the server. For each and every packet, TCP does 2 tasks. It data gives to the application layer and acknowledgement gives back into the sender side. Where in UDP actually what it does, it receives data, it extracts header, and whatever the data it gives to application layer. It will not reply. It will not reply. The code of replying is not available in UDP, but it is written in TCP. Because we want to implement reliable protocol. That's why we can implement a transport layer. UDP is unreliable, but in live video streaming it is necessary. Okay. So now we are moving towards congestion control. Why the congestion control is required? First, why congestion control is required, we are going to understand. So this is a sender device, this is a network, and this is a receiver device. If the sender is having 1 GB of data, is it like that it will send all the 1 GB data, back to back means there will have an interframe space. Might be 1 microsecond. It sends to the network will forward to these receivers. What can be the problems? What can be the problems? One GB data, all the data is pumped into network. The receiver is not receiving all this data. What can be the problems?
અમુક પેકેટ્સ ડ્રોપ
Sir,
થઈ
due to
જશે.
traffic, the half packages will go to another path.
Okay, due to traffic, the packet might be diverted into diverted. Okay, due to traffic, packet are diverted. This is one possibility. Due to traffic or heavy traffic, packets are being dropped. Packets are being dropped. For example, 1 GB of data is sent, and over here it receives only 500 MB of data. Rest 500 MBs are dropped. Okay, how does sender come to know those 500 MB are drops? And how does sender, now the question is over here, how does sender ensures receiving of all those data, receiving of all of the data? By the way of acknowledgement mechanism is there. Sender, and this is packet, and this is ACK. Acknowledgement mechanism it is there, but still the 500 MBs are dropped. What the sender has to do? Again it will send 500 MB again. Okay, again 500 MB out of 500 MB 250 MBs are being received. Again it will send 250 MB, again 125 MBs are received, again 125 MBs are sent, again 75 MBs are received, 75 MBs are sent, then 50 MBs are received, 25 MBs are left, 25 MBs are sent, only 12 MBs are received, and this is the process. Is it possible that without going into this loop, you are means with minimum iteration, you can send 1 GB of data to these receiver sites? Do you get the problem and problem definition? This is first iteration, this is second iteration, third iteration, fourth iteration, fifth iteration. In sixth iteration, all of your data will be received at receiver sites. But is there any way to reduce this number of iteration and the data will be received at receiver sites in less number of iteration, or in means less time? And there will not be too much retransmission over here. 50% at every 50% of retransmission at every iteration. 50% of transmission retransmission at every iteration. So our goal is to reduce time and to reduce retransmission. How is it possible? What is problem?
સર એક સિંગલ પાથ જ હોય તો ફર્સ્ટ પ્રોબ્લેમ સોલ્વ થઈ જશે.
Single path hoy, but there is a multiple path because it's a packet switching network. Packet switching network. It's a packet switching network. So single path, there is no possibility of single path. In circuit switching network, there will be single path, but it is a packet switching network. Multiple paths are available. Multiple path is not our problem. Multiple path is not our problem. What is our problem? Heavy traffic. Because of heavy traffic, our packets are being dropped by routers. Because of heavy traffic, our packets are being dropped by routers. For example, this is a router and it is having only 16 MB of RAM, and from here you are sending data. You are sending of data 1 GB of data, and it is having a space of 16 MB. So rest of the bytes rest of the packets which are received on this router, it will be dropped by this router because router does not have a space to accommodate the rest of the bytes. Only it can accommodate 16 MB, or it can accommodate only 100 MB. What is the solution? Problem is heavy traffic or the less RAM space available into a routers. What is solution?
સર ડેટા છે એમને નાના સાઈઝમાં પ્રોવાઈડ કરી દઈએ.
Okay, data again, 1 GB of data will be broken into a small chunks, and the chunk size is 1500 bytes. 1500 bytes. It is already there. It's a packet switching network. That is packet switching network.
Sir, multiple routers.
Multiple
Routers.
routers will have multiple solutions. Multiple path. Multiple path is advantage for us. So I'm not talking about multiple path over here. Heavy traffic because of this one router. Let's say there is only one path available. Let's assume only one path available. In between that part, there is a one router which is having 100 MB space only.
સર રૂટરની સ્ટોરેજ કેપેસિટી ઇન્ક્રીઝ કરી દઈએ તો
Okay, so from here to here to US, will you contact to the service provider that you increase your RAM router size of your RAM of routers because my traffic is being my packets are being dropped by your routers? For that you have to conclude that a packet can drop થાય છે. Is it correct?
Yes,
Do you have a
sir.
cell phone number of each and every service provider from here to Singapore? Means Gmail server for India? No. Are you bothering? No. Okay.
Sir, we can increase the interval between two packets.
We can increase interval between two packets. Very good. How to increase? How to increase interval between two packets? 1 GB of data I want to send. The problem is heavy traffic. Can we have an estimation? Can you estimate at this point of time t equal to t1? You are allowed to send only 2 packets. At time t equal to t2, you are allowed to send 100 packets. At time t equal to t3, you are allowed to send 1000 packets. Can you estimate? This is a solution, estimation. What does it estimation? It estimates bandwidth. It estimates bandwidth or the data rate which I send, if I send, then there is no chance of packet drop. There is no chance of packet drop. Is it possible? Is it possible?
No, sir.
Data rate which I send such a way that there is no chance of packet drop. So that phenomena is known as estimation. We can estimate the data rate. Such a way that there is no chance of packet drop. Okay. Initially, you are having a 1 GB of data, and your data is divided into 1.5 K of bunch, 1.5 KB of smaller chunks. Can you decide how many those chunks or how many those packets I have to send in first iteration? First iteration means you are about to start your transmitting data. How many those chunks you can send? Let's say this is a sender and this is a receiver, and you are allowed to send 1000 number of chunks, 1000 number of chunks at initial. Is it possible? Okay, so how have you decided this 1000? That's the problem over here. How have you decided this is 1000? So what is the solution? Send one packet, wait for the acknowledgement. If you receive acknowledgement, increase your sending of packet. This is packet 1, this is packet 2 and packet 3. If you receive acknowledgement, send 2 packets, and if you receive acknowledgement over here, send 2 packets. So if you look at this number of packets is 1. Number of packets are 1. Over here, number of packets are 2. Over here, number of packets are how many?
4.
4. Now, if you receive over here, if you receive 4 acknowledgement, each and every acknowledgement will send 2 packets. So how many packets we will have?
8.
8. So every iteration, this is known as
8.
iteration. Iteration 1, 2, 3, 4. This is iteration 1, I1, I2, I3, and I4. So every iteration, the package gets double. 1, 2, 4, 8. Is it clear? Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
so I'm sending, this is my network. This is my network. Again, I'm drawing same diagram to make clear. I'm sending in the first iteration, I'm sending 1 packet. There is no packet drop. Second iteration, I'm sending 2 packet. There is no packet drop. Third iteration, I'm sending 4 packet back to back. There is no packet drop. The fourth iteration, 16, fifth, 32, and so on. 6, 7, that is a 64. 7, it's a 128. Once I send 128, I found there is a packet drop. I experienced the packets are being dropped. Packet are dropped by network. So my estimated data rate would be such a way that there will not be a packet drop. 64. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, but again there
Yes, sir.
is I want to send more amount of data. 64 is minimum, but it could be between 64 and 128. Yes or no? It could be between 64 to 128. 64 is a minimum. For example, by sending 128 packets, because 128 means in this is I'm talking with respect to iteration 7. It sends 128 packets without worrying about the whether packet is being or drop, but somehow this packet number 100 in this iteration 7, if it is 1 to 128, the packet number 100 is being dropped. So what is your sorry, this is 1 to 64 only, 1 to 128. So packet number 100 is being dropped by an intermediate router. Subsequent packets are also being dropped by routers. So can we say it's in between 64 and 128? Okay. So now what I will do in iteration number 8, I will send 65 packets. In iteration number 9, I will send 66 packets. In iteration number 10, I will send 67 packets. Iteration number 11, I will send 68 packets. So can you figure it out? What is the difference among these two? First phase and this after dropping, I have started second phase. This is first phase. What are the difference among these two phases? Can you figure it out?
Yes, sir.
What is difference?
Sir,
Sir,
phase
in
1
first
માં
stage
packet
package is
double.
double
આમાં
and
first
Just one by one. Sapnil?
સર ફેઝ 1 માં પેકેટ્સ ડબલ થતા જાય છે અને ફેઝ 2 માં +1 થી ઇન્ક્રીઝ થતા જાય છે.
Yes. એટલે આ 8મા ઇટરેશનમાં 65 પેકેટ મોકલશે. There is no packet drop. હવે કયું નંબરનું પેકેટ મોકલે છે એના ઇટરેશનનો મતલબ નથી. How many packets are sent and how many packets are being dropped, that matters a lot over here. In iteration number 9, next 66 number of bunch will be sent. Iteration number 10, next 67 bunch are sent. So એક પેકેટ ઇન્ક્રીઝ કરે છે અને અહીંયા શું કરે છે? ડબલ કરે છે. So can we say it's an exponential increase? Iteration 1, exponential.
yes, sir.
2 raised to
Yes,
n
sir.
છે.
યસ સર.
2 raised to n. Over here 2 raised to n, where n equal to 0. So 2 raised to 0 equal to 1. 2 raised to 1, 2. 2 raised to 2, 4. 2 raised to 3. Sorry, I forgot 8 over here. You have to take 8 over here. Sorry. 8. And 2 raised to 4, 16, and so on. So this is exponential increase. This is exponential increase, but it start with very slowly. It start with very slowly. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So that's why this method is known as slow start slow start, exponential increase. Slow start and exponential increase. Is it clear? How this name of this method is derived? Because it starts with slowly 1, 2, 4, but once it reaches to 7th, 124, 8, 256, it gets double. So it is known as exponential increase. Slow start, exponential increase. Okay. Now the slow start and exponential increase has some stop point. Stop point means where it suffers from packet drop. Once it suffers from packet drop, it will start another phase. That phase is known as additive increase. Why the name additive increase? Why the name additive increase?
એકવાર મિનિમમ પેકેટ્સની સાઇઝ મળે પછી એક એડ કરીએ છીએ એટલે
Yes, we are adding. We are start casually. We are starting very slowly. Okay, then we are starting it one iteration. We are just incrementing one. Next iteration we are incrementing one. Over here, at every iteration we are doubling. Over here, at every iteration we are incrementing by one over here. That's the difference over here. So that's why it is known as additive increase. Slow start, and this is additive increase. Is it clear?
Sir.
Yes.
સર
Sir, for example, અત્યારે 67 તો પેકેટ ડ્રોપ થઈ ગયું છે તો પછી 64 થી સ્ટાર્ટ થશે કે પછી 66 થી સ્ટાર્ટ થશે?
Can you repeat, because there was some disturbance?
For example, 67 પેકેટ છે એ ડ્રોપ થઈ ગયા છે તો પછી એની પછીના ઇટરેશનમાં 64 થી સ્ટાર્ટ થશે કે 66 પેકેટ થી સ્ટાર્ટ થશે સેન્ડ કરવાનું?
Okay, that very good question. Who has raised? Neil.
Yes, sir.
Very good question. Because once if you have suffered 66 7 packets experience a packet drop, it starts with half of 64. Half of 64. That's nothing but 32. And then 32, every iteration it gets increased by 1. 32, 33, 34, 35, and so on. Okay, so this way of sending of receiving data, that algorithm, congestion control algorithm, it is known as TCP Reno. Double thigh, slow start, exponential increase. If packets are being dropped, it start additive increase. In additive increase, if it is again it experiences a packet drop, then it perform half of last. That is this is known as SS thresh. Slow start threshold. SS means slow start threshold. The 64 is known as slow start threshold. Slow start threshold means it experiences that if you go beyond 64, then and then your packets will get packet will be dropped. So this is safer side. So it's a threshold. So it is known as slow start threshold. Okay, so half of if your 67 68, if any one of these one experiences packet drop, then it 68, from 68 it goes down to half of the slow start threshold, means 32. Is it clear? So once it experiences packet drop, SSTRES will get changed. So 68 a packet experience કર્યા, 67 સુધી packet drop નતા થયા, so now it's a slow start threshold becomes 67. Sorry, 32 becomes slow start threshold. So now let's check with this SS3s and all this stuff with respect to this example. This is example of TCP Reno, very older version of TCP Reno. Reno has a two version, TCP Reno and TCP New Reno. TCP Reno and TCP New Reno. So right now we are going to look at TCP Reno. So this is what 1, 2, 4, 8. This is what slow start. અહીંયા experience हो तो શું કર્યું? This is about TCP New Reno. It start with again 1. and it additive increase 1 એટલે 6 થયા 7 થયા 8 થયા then it is slow start. Now SS stress is what અહીંયા જે તમે experience that is let's say this is not 8, this is around about 65. So SS trace equal to the congestion where you experience a timeout divided by 2. So 65 divided by 2, that's a 32.5. That will be your SS thresh. So SS thresh over here. Then from SS thresh you will start additive increase. Again, if you experience packet drop, again go down 1 till the SS thresh. You have exponential increase. This is exponential increase. Till SS thresh you have exponential increase and then slow start. So in conclusion, this is slow start, exponential increase, experiencing congestion or packet drop. Then set SSRS equal to this value divided by 2. This value divided by 2, so 32.5. So till 32.5 you can perform exponential growth. Till 30 in the next iteration, this is first iteration and this is second iteration. In second iteration, you can go till 32.5 and then additive increase. And again additive increase if you suffer from here, then whatever the value over here by 2 and then set your SS thresh congestion window by 2, it is mentioned over here, and then go with exponential increase. You can go up to divided by 2 and then additive increase. So the graph look like this. Every time graph will look like this. એટલે અહીંયાથી શું થશે જો આ can you see this last શું થઈ રહ્યું છે what is it these are the number of packets this y axis is number of packets you are sending. So earlier it was high, then 0 high, then slowly it comes to this normalized value. Normalized value means this you are achieving a data rate where you will not have a packet loss. So from estimation you are reaching up to real value. जहाँ packet drop नहीं था. So that algorithm is known as congestion control algorithm. Are you able to get it?
Yes sir. સર આ જે લાસ્ટમાં સ્ટ્રેટ લાઈન મળે છે એવું બી કહી શકાય કે રાઉટરની પ્રોસેસિંગ સ્પીડ છે.
Yes, રાઉટરની પ્રોસેસિંગ સ્પીડ, રાઉટરના ક્યુઇંગ પેરામીટર, ટ્રાફિક પેરામીટર આ બધા અહીંયા સેટ કરે છે અને એ ધીરે ધીરે ગ્રેજ્યુઅલી there may be a possibility કે અહીંયા પર કન્જેશન ડ્રોપ થાય તો પછી શું થશે ફરી ચાલુ કરશે પછી આમ જશે આગળ. Okay, so you might have this experience. Then again, there is lots of packet drop. ક્યારે થશે suddenly traffic increase થઈ ગયો ઇન્ટરનેટમાં, then it goes down. Are you able to hear me? Okay,
Yes sir.
Then again packet loss goes down. So these phenomena will be repeated endlessly. This is TCP. And what about UDP? UDP માં શું થશે? Camera છે, it creates a 20 packets per second. So this is 20 packet per second. Packet drop થશે તો ઉપર 20 packets per second મોકલ્યા કરશે. But in case of TCP, packet drops, I will readjust. Again, many packet drops, again I will learn, readjust. Packet lost, learn, readjust. This happens endlessly. Okay, so sometimes if you in your cell phone માં ખબર છે ઉપર કોઈ ડેટા રેટ તમે ઇનેબલ કરો છો, ડેટા રેટ, show the data rate હોય છે કોઈ જોયું છે? 2 kbps, 3 kbps, 5 kbps. So please observe those data rates if you are TCP, not live cricket. If you are downloading data from any websites, so download data rate એવું થશે કે પહેલા જતું રહેશે 2 KB, 5 KB, 130 KB or 800 KB and it directly jumps to 5 KB. Then it goes up and it goes to 600 KB. Then it comes to 10 KB. And then it goes to this and at certain point of time it's steady by 250 KB. Then at certain point of time again it suffers from packet loss, again it makes 0 and then 700 KB. Is it clear? It's a lab.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So if you observe in yourself,
sir.
you will find this pattern. So this is proof of concept I'm telling you about network. Yes Abneet.
સર
સર યાજ્ઞિક બોલે.
Yes Yagnik.
સર તમે જે અત્યારે સ્ક્રીન શેર કરી છે એક પ્રકારે વિડિયો સ્ટ્રીમિંગ જ થાય ને?
હા એ વિડિયો સ્ટ્રીમિંગ છે, એ UDP યુઝ થશે.
તો સર તમને એકનોલેજ અમને અહીંયા એક પણ પેકેટ મિસ પણ નહીં થતું, તમને એકનોલેજમેન્ટ બી નહીં મળતું, તો કઈ રીતે યુડીપી પર?
UDP એનું મિનિમમ રિઝોલ્યુશન લઈને તમને સેન્ડ કર્યા કરે છે બધી ઇમેજીસ. It's a Microsoft team. It's an application layer of Microsoft team which captures my screen images and it sends to you at minimum data rate. And it might be using some compression algorithms. એટલે અહીંયાથી ડેટા સેન્ડ કરતા પહેલા કમ્પ્રેસ કરી નાખે છે. Then at receiver side it decompress and it gives you very good quality of data. Last to last lab I think we have Viasat. I have started Viasat and I saw this is all the UDP packet that Teams is sending. You can even start Viasat in your machine. You will see lots of UDP packets right now you are receiving because it's a video streaming. Is it clear? Any question?
Yes, sir.
So I know very well it's difficult to understand this topic.